This is not your typical goal setting video. Now we're going to be talking about real practical actionable steps that are actually specifically tailored to the tech industry. It is tailored to the unique opportunities and challenges in the tech industry. So whether you are a newbie developer, you're just trying to get into the tech space, whether you have a couple of days, weeks, months, years experience in tech, whether you're trying to pivot from one particular career into the tech industry, whatever category you are in, you are you are the right place. You are at the right place. Because I see a lot of people say things like, I want to start this particular career path, I want to go into this, I want to learn this skill in tech, but after a couple of months and even years, you see that nothing has been done. It's not enough to like say it. In fact, saying it is like the very first step, but what you actually do afterwards is actually more important. So in this video we're going to be covering all of that. I actually will be sharing my personal blueprint for setting and smashing goals in tech. So let me give you a little bit of history. In 2018, my goal was actually to get into tech. That was my goal, and by the end of the year I was able to do that. In 2022, my goal was to get into the Web3 space as a blockchain developer, and by the end of the year I was able to do that. So how was I actually able to set specific goals? How was I actually able to actually be consistent? Because consistency is one thing. How was I actually able to smash those goals and even go beyond that? I'm going to be talking about all of that in this video. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Just in case you are seeing my face for the first time, where have you been in the world? Where have you been? Okay, my name is Emmanuel and I am a blockchain developer. In this video, we're going to be talking about goal setting, how to set and smash goals as a techie. Setting goals is not like just shooting for the stars. I see it as having a GPS, having a map that you use to navigate, say, a strange country. For example, if you're lost in a forest and you have a GPS, you're able to avoid getting lost. You're able to avoid wandering unnecessarily. With the guide, with the map, or with the GPS, you're able to get to your destination on time, in one piece, and without having a lot of headache. Now that is what goal setting does for you. The tech industry is very fast paced. So if you are not actively setting goals or pursuing your goals to actually achieve them, it's very possible that you are either standing at a place, you're not moving, you're not making progress, or you're running around in circles. So it's actually very important that you know what you're doing. This year, in this new season, you actually have to know what you're doing. Let us move on to how to actually set goals. So number one, the very first thing is reflect. Now before you rush and start writing things on paper, things that you're not going to do, I think you should actually sit down to actually reflect on the past year, reflect on the past goals that you have set. Why did you not achieve your past goals? What were the mistakes you made? What was hard? What exactly happened? Why did you actually achieve those goals that you set? It's actually very important to really reflect so that you know where you have to change, you know what you have to do better. Because if you just go on to set goals, you may just end up making the same mistakes that you have made in the past. So it's very important that you reflect. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is having a big picture in mind. Now, it's one thing for you to say, I want to do this, but if you don't actually have a big picture of where that thing is going to lead you to, you may end up wasting your time. Now, when I say big picture, what do I mean? Let me give you examples. Your big picture goal can be, I want to become a senior engineer, a senior front-end engineer, probably earning 5K a month in one of the 5 top tech companies in the world. You can actually put a name to it. That could be like your big picture goal. You can actually also say that, oh, maybe your big picture goal is you want to lead a team, you want to be a team lead. It could be maybe you want to start your own startup. It could be maybe you want to write stuff that rank very high on Google. Just have a big picture. You can dream big as much as you can, but then you need to know that Rome was not actually built in a day. So after writing down those big pictures, you need to like break them down into smaller steps. So I'm going to try to use like a consistent example in this video. So I think I should stick with the front-end developer goal. But breaking it down into smaller steps means that you're saying, what do I actually need to do to actually achieve these goals? Now, as a front-end developer, you need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and so many other things. But that's like the basic, that's like the foundation. So your smaller goals can be, okay, I want to learn HTML, I want to learn CSS, I want to learn JavaScript. You've broken it down into smaller bits, so that when you actually achieve one of them, you're able to move closer to your goals. So that's just what I'm trying to say. It's very important that you make your goals personal. Do not set goals because everybody is trying to do something. So for example, there's a new hot language in town and everybody is learning it. Don't set goals like to actually learn that language, because at the end of the day, if you don't really have interest, it's possible that after 1 month, after 2 months, you give up, and that's not what you want. Because if you're not interested in it so much in the first place, after the whole buzz dies off, after the whole hype dies off, you will give up on your goals. So ensure that it's actually very personal to you. And then another thing I have to say is ensure that your goals are actually aligned with where the tech industry is going, so that you don't end up setting a goal and smashing the goal and then finding out that that particular thing you learn is no longer needed. So make sure you take out time to actually reflect and think of the big picture. Write out your your long-term goals, and write out your smaller short-term goals that you've broken out from the overall long-term goal. I hope that is clear enough. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so step 2 is to ensure that your goals are SMART goals. So SMART is an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Like, it's an acronym. And don't worry, it may seem like a mouthful, but I'm going to like use a very relatable example to show you how all of these words, how all of these letters apply. Still using that example of I want to become a front-end developer that is probably earning 5k in one of the top companies in the world. So let's use that example. So for you to actually break it down to be very, very, very clear, that saying that, oh, I want HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, I need to learn these things to actually achieve my goal. That is you being very specific. So your goals should not be vague. You cannot just say, I want to be a developer this year, or I want to build a product this year, or I want to become a designer this year. Those things are very vague. So you actually have to be specific. So that's what S stands for, specific. Be specific with your goals. Ensure that your goals are specific enough. Now, the second one is M, which is measurable. How do you actually measure your goals? So in cases where you're saying that I've achieved my goals, what are the metrics you use to measure your goals? What are those metrics? So it could be front-end example. Now, you can say that by the end of the first quarter, I should have built a project with HTML and CSS, or by the end of the first half of the year, I should have built 6 projects that are live on GitHub. You need to be able to measure your goals so that you can actually track whether you're making progress or not. So it's actually very important. Achievable is next. You have to be real with yourself. Are those things actually achievable? Can you actually learn JavaScript in 1 week? You can actually, but are they actually achievable? You need to be very sincere with yourself. Are they actually achievable to you? You need to be very sure that the things you're writing down as goals are things that can actually be achieved. You need to know that some goals are actually like long term, in the sense that you may not be able to do them in 1 year, you may not be able to do them in the next 2 years, you may not be able to do them in the next 3, 4, 5 years, and that's fine. But ensure that for those smaller goals that you're breaking it down into, you can actually track them, you can actually do them. There are things that you can actually do. So that's what achievable means. That's balance. Now, this is where your personal interest and the tech industry shake hands. So, for example, if you want to learn front-end development, you want to learn web development, it doesn't make sense for you to be learning a language like VBasic. It doesn't make sense for you to be learning something like motion graphics. Avoid having too many activities that distracts you from your goals. That's why you need to really be specific, because if you're really specific with your goals, then you'll be actually able to know what things are relevant to your goals, and what things are not relevant to your goals. And then another thing on relevance is that the thing you're learning, is it actually relevant in the tech industry? That skill you're about to learn, is it going to be relevant in the tech industry in the next 2-3 years? It's actually important that you check all of this before you actually start pursuing those goals actively. T is for time bound. Now this is where your milestones come to play. You have to ensure that the goals that you're setting have a time frame attached to it. The reason why I am sitting down this morning, it's actually, what's the time? It's actually 2:13 a.m. to actually shoot this video is because I actually put a time that by this particular date I should have pushed out this video. That is why I'm sitting down by 2 a.m. to make this video. So if you don't set a time frame to your goals, it's possible for you to forget. It's possible for you to just think that, oh, the time is never going to come, I'm going to do it one day, and you never do it. So how do you actually set time frames? It could actually be monthly, it could be quarterly, it could be at the end of each 6 months. Just have a time frame. And then another thing I have to say is ensure that you are actually splitting those smaller chunks of your goals. Ensure that you're putting them in time frames as well. So for example, you can say I want to learn HTML this first month. By the end of the first quarter, I should have understood HTML and CSS, and I should have built something with it. Make sure you're adding a time to it. If not, it's very possible for you to get carried away with other activities and you forget your goals. You only remember them when you hear people talking about goal setting again the next year. So by the time you ensure that all of your goals pass through these acronyms, you're sure that whatever you're coming out with is something that is solid, is something that you can actually follow through. And that is how you actually set your goals. How do you actually bring those goals from thoughts or from paper to realities? That's what we're going to be talking about next. One mistake that a lot of people do is that they actually set their goals, but they don't actually look for resources that help them to achieve that goal. When I wanted to learn Web3 development, I actually sat down to actually research where are the places that I could actually go to learn. What courses do I need to know? What do I need to understand? They're actually very important. So even before you go on to start pursuing your goals, look out for courses, look out for tutorials, look out for anything at all that can actually help you achieve those goals. Now, if you're trying to learn a new language, if you're trying to get into a field that you're not familiar with, then you may need to find roadmaps. Now, roadmaps are just detail, like the name implies. Roadmap is just a map that shows you how to get to a particular career from the very beginning. So there is a cybersecurity roadmap, there is web development roadmap, there are design roadmaps. So there are different roadmaps for different things. And if you don't find a roadmap, don't be afraid to ask someone that has more experience in that field to give you a roadmap. The person can actually show you the things that you need to focus on. That way, you don't end up running around circles. You don't end up learning. You don't end up beating around the bush. It's actually quite important that you actually find the resources that you need even before you start. And you don't need to find everything. You just need to find the first one resource that you follow, the first 2, 3, 4, 5 resources. And now the beautiful thing about setting goals are when you actually set your goals, you find opportunities, you find resources along the way. So for example, I want to learn blockchain development. That is when you start becoming aware of opportunities around that particular area. So it's actually very important that you find those resources. You can find them by Googling actually. You can find them by searching on Google, resources for this, resources for that. You'll find a lot of resources. I assure you, I've said resources a lot of time. But yeah, you get what I mean. Now the second one is tools. Now tools, I like you to think about your goals as projects. So don't just think about it in a way that, oh, I'm setting goals. Think about it as project. And tools are all of those project management tools that you use that actually help you track your goals, that help you really break down your goals and have them in a nice way. You can actually use tools like Notion. For example, Notion is a wonderful tool. They even have goal setting templates that you could just copy, customize to taste and use. It helps you break down your goals into bits. It helps you really analyze your goals. It helps you track your goals. So that's a free tool that you could use. There are so many other options that are close to Notion. There's also Trello. You can check all of them out and see which one works for you. Another tool that I want to talk about that is very underrated is your Google Calendar, or maybe your calendar app, whatever calendar you use. You can use it to set deadlines, milestones, reminders. The reminders are like the thing for me. You can add it, you can add your goals, you can add your milestones to your calendar, so that when you check your calendar, you actually see that, oh, this date is actually approaching, and then you are able to actually prepare, you're able to actually plan, you're able to actually put your mind in the right framework that, oh, this thing is going to happen, so I need to actually be able to meet. Something that happens, the brain automatically just gets active when it's closer to the deadline. So when the deadline is approaching, you find yourself more motivated to actually do that thing. But then if you don't set a deadline, if you're not seeing any reminder, how would you be motivated? So I think you should really maximize your calendar app. Another thing that you should use is also your clock app. You can use it to set daily alarms that remind you. My phone I have a lot of clock apps. I have a lot of reminders on my clock app, their alarms. I have a lot of them. But then there's another thing that we have to talk about, actually being disciplined enough to actually do those things when the alarm goes off. But that's another topic for another day. But at least have them. Let it be that you have them. The days that you do them is great. The days that you don't do them, you beat yourself up. But then the next time you do them, just ensure that you have those things in place. And now the last one I'm going to talk about is a book. It could be like a physical book. It could be like something like a Google Note, a Google Doc, maybe a Notion page. But a book, a plain book that you use to document your day-to-day progress. So for example, you're learning how to code. Whatever you learn each day, you should record it. I learned about Flexbox. I learned about grids today. Write it down. Put the date. I wrote an article. I published it on this particular platform. Write it down. Now, what that does for you is that at the end of a particular period of time, say at the end of 1 month, if you've been documenting your daily progress, you'll be able to really look back and see what you have done. But if you don't actually document, you will not be able to really track your progress. So a very funny example, one of those days I was checking my journal and I saw an entry that on this particular day I cried because I could not understand the particular concept, and I found it so funny because I have actually mastered that particular thing right now and it's now like bread and butter for me. But then at that particular point in time I cried. I literally sat down and started crying because I could not get it. But how would I be able to track my progress if I did not document it? I will not know. I'll probably be beating myself up that I'm not making progress, I'm not growing. But you see what documenting does for you. You're able to actually look back and say that this is what I did, this is what I actually achieved. So it's very important for you to stay motivated. Yeah. I feel like more importantly, after you set your goal, like one of the most important things is actually staying motivated, because at the end of the day, consistency is what actually helps you achieve your goal. So you have to be consistent. But how do you build consistency? Build a personal habit. So that's like the very first tip on staying motivated. Build a personal habit around that particular goal. So say you're learning how to code. Make it a habit that every day for a particular amount of time, it doesn't have to be like 3 hours, it doesn't have to be 5 hours, even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's 30 minutes, say that every particular day that passes, for 30 minutes, for 15 minutes, I am going to do this particular thing that brings me closer to my goal. So as a developer, you need to write code every day. As a writer, you need to write every day. Now, what happens is that by the end of 30 days, you would have consistently done that thing for 30 days. And for example, if you have been learning something new for the past 30 days, you have 30 new things that you did not know when you started. So it's actually important for you to build a daily habit. How do you actually build a daily habit? Join a challenge, start a challenge, challenge yourself. Now, I feel like challenges are one of the best ways to stay consistent, because there is 30 days of code challenge. There is 100 days of code challenge. In fact, personally, I did 100 days of JavaScript. I did 30 days of Web3. I did 60 days of Web3. I did 100 days of code. 100 days of code, 100 days of Web3. So all of those challenges come with communities. So you're not the only person that is actually embarking on those challenges. It's very possible for you to meet people you get supported by the community. By the time you show up consistently online, people like start to follow your progress, and then they become like your supporters, they become like your fans, they become like your accountability partners. I like to say that the internet is like my free accountability partners. I don't need to like look for anybody and personally tell them that, oh, please keep me accountable. All of those people are keeping me accountable for free. I remember an incident while I was learning Web3. Someone reached out to me. It was day 6, and the person was asking me, "You have not posted anything." It was like towards evening, and I was like, "Oh, you're actually following. I'm going to post." And that was what gingered me that day to actually go and do what I was supposed to do, and then I was able to post. So you have like the community to support you. And I feel like it's a very beautiful way for you to actually build a daily challenge, like a daily habit. And that daily habit becomes part of you, it becomes part of your routine. So by that particular time, every day, you automatically just look forward to it. Like your body, your brain, your mind anticipates it. And if you do not actually do those things, you notice that that whole day feels like incomplete. So that's what like a daily habit or a personal habit will do for you. So the next thing you should really consider is accountability. Now, personally, I believe that you should be self-motivated enough to actually follow through whatever you decide to do. Like, you don't really need people to like encourage you to achieve your goals. You should be disciplined enough. You should respect yourself enough to actually follow through your goals. I think the reason why people don't do that is because they don't have a strong why. If you don't have a very good reason why you're actually planning to do that particular thing, like why you're trying to learn that particular language, why you're trying to start that career or do whatever you want to do, it's very possible for you to get discouraged. But if you have a very good why, that why keeps you motivated. Nonetheless, it's very important for you to have people that keep you accountable. Now, these people will support you when you're down, even when your why is not whying. They are going to encourage you. They'll keep you going. They will ginger you literally. So it's very important for you to have accountability. It's very important. It could be your friends, your family members. It could be your community. You can start a community of people that are interested in learning the same things you're trying to learn or doing the same things you're trying to do. And then you guys can like motivate each other, keep each other accountable. So that's for accountability. So this one is actually very important. Celebrate your wins. Whenever you do things that you were not able to do before, celebrate your wins. So let's say, for example, you do not understand some particular terminologies, and then after a particular time, you notice that you now understand it. Celebrate your wins. You were not able to solve a particular coding challenge, but now you can solve it. Celebrate your wins. Dance, laugh, buy yourself ice cream. Celebrate your wins. It keeps you motivated. You don't know what that does to you, but it actually keeps you motivated. It keeps you gingered. It tells you that if I'm able to actually do this one, then I'm able to do any other thing I set my mind to do. So it's very important that you celebrate your wins. Another thing that you should take note of is take care of yourself, take care of your body. Eat, sleep, drink water, so that you don't burn out, so that you don't get tired. Don't just try to pursue your goal throughout and you forget that you have a life. Don't do that. Take care of yourself. Your body will thank you for that. Just imagine that, if I don't imagine, but if anything happens to you today, your goals will be sitting down looking at you. Nobody would actually fulfill those goals. Nobody will actually do those things. So you need your body to actually be able to do all of those things that you've listed out. So take care of your body, take care of your mental health, exercise, eat food, drink water, and stay active. Literally, it's actually very important. It is actually very important. Don't burn out. Whatever you do, ensure that you don't burn out, because when you burn out, the time that you would have used to do things that will bring you closer to your goals will be spent on trying to recover, will be spent on trying to motivate yourself back on track. So it's very important that you don't even burn out in the first place. So ensure that you take care of yourself properly. Very important. If you're not actually finding joy in all of the little things, it's possible that when you get to the goal, when you actually achieve the goal, you're like, is this it? Is this it? What is there? You don't really value it and you move on to the next thing. So it's actually important that you actually enjoy the moment, enjoy everything that comes with it. Live through life. Don't just be stoic in one place. Live through life. Experience all the experiences with joy and come out stronger, because it is part of your story and it makes you a better person. It makes you a solid person. This is actually very important to take note of, because it is not really about the goal, like the result, the end result. It's more about who you become in the process, the person you become by the end of the journey. By the time you finally get to your destination, who are you? It's actually very important. So every day, as you take those small steps, as you take on those challenges, as you overcome obstacles, you're actually evolving. You're becoming a better person. You're becoming a more resilient person, and it's adding to your character. So it's not just about the end goal, it's about who you actually become in the process. Don't forget that every day, everything that happens in your life, your experiences, is part of your story, and nobody can take those things away from you. So even if you don't actually achieve the goal, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're failed in life. It doesn't mean that that is the end. In fact, it's actually possible, and it's actually good. There's sometimes that you set goals, and midway you find opportunities that are not necessarily related to that goal, but they are actually like the next thing that you should be doing in your life, and you go for them. It doesn't mean that you've actually failed, because by the time you look back, you see that, oh, I did not actually smash this particular goal. It doesn't mean that you have failed. Rather, it just shows that you have grown, you become a better person. So how you were at the beginning of the journey is way improved at the end of the journey. You're like way better than you were when you started. So you need to keep that in mind, and don't beat yourself too hard. Don't be like so hard on yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. Actually, be nice to yourself. Yeah, so give grace to yourself. Yeah, I want you to like maximize every opportunity that you have. I want you to aim higher. I want you to smash your goals and actually become the person that you ought to be. Community. So yeah, I have a newsletter community. I write mails. I send you like personal notes on tech, Web3, personal development, all of those good stuff. So don't miss out. You need to be part of that community. Do well to like click on the link. It's actually in the description box below. Join the newsletter community, and I'm sure you're going to benefit a lot from it. If you're not following me on social media, what are you waiting for? Follow me on social media. The links are also going to be in the description below. Do well to subscribe to this channel, like this video. I know you liked the video, so like it now. Like, actually click on the like button and like it, so I will know that you like it. And of course, subscribe, and tell other people to subscribe as well. Yeah, so with that said, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.